Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you guys are doing good, making your dreams come true, making moves, making hits. Keep on grinding, keep on moving, keep on rising to the top, all that kind of stuff. So today I want to kind of talk about something that is, it's kind of bothersome, honestly, and it's this whole gender war thing, and this divided mentality, this bifurcated, trifurcated segmented mindset that we got going on here, right? So we got a lot of issues, man, and this recent election between Trump and Harris has really revealed some deep, dark scars. And I had talked before. There's been a lot of data talking about Gen Z men and women growing further and further apart. Don't bother stopping at that stop sign. You're good. Don't worry about it. I don't know why they put that there. Just go ahead and do it. So it's really just kind of revealed some things. We got this Gen Z gender war, where the boys, the men, 30 and under in particular, are becoming more conservative and the ladies are becoming more liberal. And that has been hashed out ad nauseum, really, really badly with the Trump thing, right? We got the 4B movement, women shaving their heads and saying they're not going to do this, that, and the other. If you're not familiar with the 4B movement, it's something that started in South Korea, where the ladies there said they weren't going to birth any babies, and it was like all these different words would begin with B in the Korean language. They weren't going to date any men, marry any men, birth any babies. I think the other B was like boyfriends or something like that. No sex, and it all starts with B or the equivalent of B in Korean. No sex with men, no marriage with men, no birthing babies, and there's a fourth one. I have to look it up and put it on the screen here. Four of them. So, it's really just revealed this crazy gender war overall, period, and, we are not seeing eye to eye. A lot of us are still seeing eye to eye, right? And, but there's this growing anger and resentment. I mean, can you imagine shaving your head and saying, now we're going to adopt this over the loss of an election? And if you notice from the results that we've been looking at, right, 60% of white men, voted for Trump, 55% of Hispanic men, and 20% of black men voted for Trump. Which leads me to think, I don't know the Asian numbers, which leads me to think if 55 and 60% of other races of men could see something in Trump, what is it that black men missed or didn't see? Or what is it that they did see, black men did see, that the other races missed? Could be put either way. You judge that for yourself. But I want to talk about this whole anger that be going on. And not only that, but there's an opinion piece I'll put up on the page here where, there's just a lot of anger, and particularly by black women. Anger at black men, anger at men overall, anger at white women. And, it's really telling about what's going on here, and kind of scary in all actuality that there's this level of backlash over an election. So, but also I want to bring up, I want to show this video right here that I got from BGS Ibmore. Shout out to him and him finding this video. He did a video about it, but I want to kind of discuss it. So here's this video.
So I wanted to clear something up. There are a lot of black men who voted for Kamala, and they believe that voting for Kamala was somehow going to fix the gender divide between black men and black women. And I'm here to tell you that that's not going to happen, okay? There is no way possible y'all could be this delusional. that you thought, oh, we see the percentages, we see the numbers, we see so many black men wanting to vote for Kamala or did vote for Kamala. So they're our allies now. All of a sudden overnight, now they're our allies. Now they give a damn about us. Let's stick together, right? Absolutely the fuck not. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys why black men are still not our allies. And I'm not saying that there are not some black men individually that are allies with black women, but we know that the number is not that high. Okay. So I'm going to just go ahead and disregard the ones that are, and I'm going to talk about the ones that are not. The reason why this election changed nothing for me and many other black women is because we were divested from y'all way before this election. This has nothing to do with the election. If the election never happened, the gender divide, the red pill versus the modern woman, that crap would still be going on. Because don't forget that black men as a group, not individually, as a group, have been disparaging black women since the dawn of time. Ever since social media was laid out for us, black men have been getting on social media and disparaging the entire F out of black women and girls. Dark-skinned black women, overweight black women, too skinny black women, women with no ass. We're masculine. We can't be led. We can't. We're not feminine. We won't submit. Your baby mom, single baby mamas. I mean, y'all have disparaged us in every possible way. So this election changed nothing. I've been divested from black men for quite a while, and there are women who've been divested from black men for decades, way before this election. So I just want to send a reminder to you that you voting for Kamala changed nothing. We know that deep down you're still not our allies. And I say that because we know that no matter how you voted, when you leave that voting booth, you're still going to be lying. You're still going to be cheating. You're still going to be deadbeat fathers. You're still going to be gaslighting women, putting women's health at risk, putting your hands and feet on women, right? You're still going to be doing this as a group. So your vote means nothing. And I personally don't give a damn if 100% of all black men voted for Kamala. We've divested. And it just is what it is. And I'm only speaking about the smart black women who are interested in self-preservation. The mammies, the boy moms, and I'm not talking about mothers of sons. Those are two different things. The mammies, the boy moms, the doormats, the pick-me's, y'all can have them. We don't claim them anyways. Go after those women. The women who are interested in keeping themselves safe, their kids safe, and living the best possible healthy, happy life are staying away from you. Now, if you're still a woman that's still interested in finding this, like, I don't know, American dream lifestyle or whatever fairy tale y'all are after, your best bet is to hop the fence. And y'all know what that means. Now, I still stand by my previous statements, when I say that men are men. We live in a patriarchy. I don't give a damn what race or culture you get your man from. You're still going to be dealing with men. But what I am saying is that you have a much higher chance of possibly finding what you're looking for by hopping the fence. If you stay in the black community, in my personal opinion, based on my observation for 40 years, your chances of finding that is 1.5% maybe. And if you hop the fence and go outside, your chances is probably 10 or 15%. Still not very much, but the point that I'm making is you still have a much higher chance going over there than you do here. That's my own personal opinion. Nothing y'all say is ever going to change that, because I've been on this earth for almost a half a century. I've seen shit. I've heard shit. I know that history is just going to repeat itself and things will not get better. It just is what it is. Black women in particular, for hundreds of years have been speaking life into black men, have been holding them down, have been their ride or dies, right? Have not called the cops even when they should. And I am a huge advocate for, if he put his hands on you or threaten you, lock him up in the cage where he belongs. I don't give a damn what race he is. Okay? He belongs in the cage. Doesn't matter to me, right? When women have been taken up for y'all, hiding your sexual abuse of children and all this stuff for hundreds of years. And now we finally reach this century, and y'all are up against a bunch of black women who are ready to or have already left y'all behind. Y'all are on your own. Y'all had every opportunity since y'all been alive and since social media to rectify this situation, to actually care and give a damn about your women and girls, but y'all chose not to. There is absolutely nothing the black men, white men, black women, Indian women, no human being on the planet will ever succeed at changing my mind about what I am saying. I am never going to apologize for it. If you hear me say I'm sorry, I'm saying I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. It just is what it is. I mean what I'm saying. I'm never taking it back. I'm never walking this back, because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And like I said, I am not speaking for all black women. I'm only speaking I am not speaking for all black women. I'm only speaking for the women who actually have high self-esteem, who actually gives a damn about themselves, and who actually wants to self-preserve. That is not all black women. There's plenty of pick-me doormats and mammies out there who are willing to keep putting themselves on the altar of sacrifice and leaving this earth early and getting beat up and getting ass whooped and all that. There's plenty of them. Leave us alone. So I just wanted to make that very clear, that if we were not fucking with y'all before the election, we're still not effing with y'all after the election. So get.
So if you watch, if you watch the video, really understood it. This woman was essentially saying, she has divested, quote unquote, from the black men because of their alleged SA numbers, violence. And when you dig into all these numbers, you recognize that it's really not that bad when you really dig into these numbers. I'm not justifying any form of violence, any form of assault. I'm not justifying any of that. I'm not justifying stepping out. But when you start looking at all these numbers, man, when you start really digging through these numbers, right, something like 20% of men are admit to stepping out in their marriages, while it's like 13% of women. I mean, those are the latest numbers that I saw. So where are these numbers coming from, right? You start lumping people in with all men. You meet one or two, and they're all like this. And it's shaping and giving a warped sense of reality. It's shaping people's opinions. They're going onto social media, and other people who have the same algorithms will watch this and become, it becomes an echo chamber of information and bad information. And it's really unfortunate because there's a lot of hurt people out there. I did a video about this before, people, hurt in the dating market and, bleeding all over other people. And this is sadly just an example of that. This woman claims to be, something like 40 years old and just, nobody's ever going to be able to convince her. It's not even worth talking to. If you have that mindset where you can't be talked out of your opinion, out of, because of data sets and all this, then it's unfortunate. And I can only assume that she has had a lifetime of just disappointing men within her sphere, whether it's been boyfriends, I don't know if she's married before, fathers, stepfathers, uncles, just people, and she's just like, all these dudes are just whatever. And if you're watching this, well, obviously you are watching it, but you're gonna probably watch it a day after I will have done a live, and I plan to do a 2-part live. So go to the live portion of my page there, and go through the other lives there. We talk about a lot of stuff, and I plan to do a 2-part series on why black women aren't getting married. And I'm having ladies up there who are very knowledgeable. Miss Anita from Better Love Movement and Dr. Diane Stewart is going to be coming on soon. She wrote a complete book, which I thoroughly enjoyed, because she talked about, in her book, what are the impediments to black women getting married. And part of it is ineligible men. We got to do something about that. No doubt about it. Got to do something about that. But part of it is the system. Part of it has been the welfare state. And she gives a lot of grace to black men because we have been a target. We have been a target since our emancipation. We have been the target of a lot of different governmental policies. And, for example, the GI Bill was not given to black folks. So when you drive to the suburbs, wherever you live at, you drive to the suburbs, you got to recognize that the GI Bill and redlining and all that kind of stuff was all aimed at black people, but black males in particular, because they were, quote unquote, supposed to be the patriarchs. Well, you can't be a patriarch and provide for your family if you have been held back. So I think that, and what I appreciate about Dr. Stewart's book is that, if you really read this in context, if you really have an open mind to read this in context, you cannot help but to give grace to our community as a whole, and black men in particular, because from the emancipation, from the debt payment systems that were set up, to sharecropping systems, to the outright lynchings, to burning down of businesses, stealing of property. I read another book, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it talked about why it basically was why the Supreme Court, made the decision in 1954, to change, to desegregate the schools. Um, it was a really good book, and it talked about all the stuff that was going on in the United States, and the amount of people, black folks were suing white folks, winning, and getting $1. Yeah, this guy stole your property, but we're going to give you $1 to compensate. It was this complete system that was rigged against us. So you got to, and so I appreciate Dr. Stewart, running through the history there and saying, even up until, the 1970s and 80s, with crack epidemic and arrests and all that, she got to give a lot of grace. Now, listen, I'm not saying that we ought to operate in learned helplessness. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we should do better and get better, but it's going to take a process, and we got to have more positive male role models to go out there with our message and say, hey, listen, this is the type of behavior that we need to aspire to and that we need to model. So, that young lady in the video really is just exemplifying just a lot of hurt, anger, and bitterness. Allegations of intimate partner violence and allegations of SAing. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson and other scholars who do a lot of work about this. Dr. Tommy Curry do a lot of work about this. Talking about the bidirectional intimate partner violence. That means that both parties are fighting, right? That means that both people are fighting. It means that and there's a lot of men who don't talk about their first sexual experiences of being 9 and 10 years old, and the women who are there with are 18, 19, and 20. Those two people get into the numbers with that kind of thing. So listen, there's a lot that's going on within our community. We have a lot to do. We have a lot to do psychologically, and Diane Stewart again talks about this in her work. We got a lot to do, and and she admits, where do we start? The church has let us down. That corporate entity. We gave up our schools. Those are two places we really could. And I'm not saying I would be in favor of creating all black schools on a grammar and high school level, not for segregation purposes or racist purposes, but because we have a lot of mental undoing to do. And if we could see black teachers, and I think that would have us to cause us to be able to love one another, and love our features. I'm saying, different shades that we come in, this whole colorism thing that we got going on. We got a lot of this whole hair thing that we got going on. We got a lot of work, a lot of psychological trauma, a lot of psychological work that needs to be done. And there's a lot of finger pointing going on about, whose fault it is and how much we don't like each other and how much we don't listen to each other, and black men aren't listening to black women, and white men are, this person over here's fault, and the race, the genders aren't listening to each other, and it's all your fault. You're dusty. We're passing you out. Never considering, that this is designed by the government or powers that be to keep us separate. That's why I'm having these ladies to go on to talk about it. It's really an important topic that we get to. So I think that the best thing we should do is, the churches again are religiously are gone, which could have been a great venue to have some deep needed psychological adventures. Right, we got more psychologists, more black people in professional organizations, but we're not getting any closer together. We're not solving a lot of problems. We got the whole divestment movement, which is a black women's movement, is saying we don't want to deal with black men. We got the passport bro movements, who are essentially saying the same thing. We're done with Western women, period. Black women in particular, and we're going to leave the country. It's really a shame. And who else is making videos like this? I mean, I put up on the screen there, about the USA Today opinion piece talking about don't blame white women for voting this way. But, who else is making videos like this? and point me to them. I don't know. There maybe there certainly are white ladies who are making videos who are saying who are upset at men. Period. But calling out their own to this specificity, saying that they would rather, even when they call out their men, they're saying we're not done with men. Period. But they're not saying in general and in mass that we're going to start dating Asian men or Hispanic men or black men. They're not saying that. It's a really interesting dynamic that we got going on, and I wish that I had the magic potion to sprinkle on people or have them drink or whatever to get them to understand, where we are. And because I said this before and I'll say it again, because other folks aren't rocking with us like that. This whole what's sad and comical about the divestment movement is it's not getting women married. It's not you might be dating them, you might be having sex with them, but they're not marrying you anywhere close to any type of substantial numbers. You're having more babies by them statistically than you are with marriages. Nobody else is rocking with it like that. And I'm not saying this to put you down. I'm saying this to say, hey, listen, let's work together because we understand each other's pain and trauma, or at least we should try to understand each other's pain and trauma and have some real adult dialogue and conversations and say, hey, listen, how do we fix this? How do we really fix this community? What's really wrong with our communities? And I think that's a big part of the problem because you can ask 12 different people what the community's issues are. What's the origins of the problems with the community? You're going to get 13, 14, 15 different answers. We can, psychologists and sociologists can't really determine what the answer is. I mean, I praise Dr. Stewart, who I plan on having on the show, and she wants to kind of tear down and or take a different type of look at the whole patriarchal system. Well, you ask men this, particularly in the red pill movement, they'll tell you we don't live in a patriarchy. We live in a state-run gynocracy. That's what they'll say. We're all over the place. We don't even know what the problem is. We know that there is a problem, and the symptoms of the problem are backlashes in videos like this, or crying and upset. We don't even know. We don't even know what our problems are. We don't know. We're all over the place, all over the place. So it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate where we are today. So listen, let me just finish this off with saying, listen, as much as you can see all the negativity, whether it's on the news or social media or in the newspapers or whatever you're taking your information from, try to inoculate yourself against the negativity. If you watch a video like I played, you got to recognize that hurt people hurt other people, and she's obviously speaking from her sense of hurt. But you have to inoculate yourself against that and say, man, I need to do better. Ask yourself what you're doing to heal from your past pain and trauma, how you're not going to bleed on other people, how you're not going to influence other people in a negative way. And listen, this is coming from a police officer, right? I was a police. Listen, all I saw was negativity, right? People called us when they had a problem. So we're running into all kind of different problems. That's all you see. That's why a lot of police officers, also suffer from some type of mental break. Not all, obviously, but many, post-traumatic stress and all this kind of stuff. When they get into dangerous situations, they suffer from all that. I know. You become a police officer, right? I came on, or there's a bunch of cops who came on the class that I did. A lot of them quit because they didn't want to be surrounded by this negativity all the time. Not only the negativity that we saw, but sometimes it was sitting next to the guy who was next to you in a patrol car, backing you up on a call, because they didn't want to be around that negativity. And you'd be surprised what happens when you change your environment. When you change your mind, change your environment. That's what my tagline is: change your mind, change your life. When you change your environment, you can become a completely different person. So sometimes you have to turn off videos like I showed before. You have to get around people who are positive, speaking life, speaking positive. I spent the vast majority of my career on the midnight shift. I spent the vast majority of my career on the midnight shift. And on the midnight shift, and any police officer will tell you this who's worked midnight, there's nobody around. There's nobody around but good guys and bad guys. The bad guys are up to no good, and the good guys are trying to find them. Right, the police officers. So one time, no, I'm sorry. I go to first shift, and people are waving at me. Kids are coming up to me. You don't have any of that in the midnight, so you get warped and jaded. Like everybody's a jerk. Everybody's this, that, and the other. People want to buy you coffee. You go into a store to get something to eat. Numerous people want to buy you. Listen, can I buy you this? Oh, I was going to buy it for you. It's crazy. What's going on here? It becomes a completely different environment. Completely different environment. So sometimes you need to immerse yourself in a completely different environment. Traditional news-wise, newspaper-wise, whatever you're reading, whatever you're consuming, and social media-wise as well. You know, you can't, and you have to fight against this type of negative type of thinking, unfortunately, that this lady has. And then we got to find a different way we got to find a way to find each other. This was a question that was asked to me one time in the comments. Like, we got to find a way to find each other. And I think that schools and sororities and high school and colleges and all that should be a way, but we're not wholeheartedly invested in that, and it's unfortunate. And it is unfortunate because we are missing each other. There's good men out here. There's good women out here. We just got to be able to find a way to find each other. You know, so this sister who's saying she's divested, which means to me that she is no longer dating or messing with, it sounds like, black men. And even though, again, to her point in the video, that black men have overwhelmingly 80% voted for Kamala, she's like, I still don't care. Because collectively, you all don't like us. Even though collectively, when we get married, our numbers say different. No matter how much, once you get on this, that, and the other, once you get yourself a white girl, still when you look at the numbers, statistically, it's 85% and up of black men who get married are married to black women. So we got to be honest in our assessments, thorough in our assessments, and keep pushing forward, man. Don't allow other people to jade you, change your spirit, and so I just want to drop that, it's keep your head up, keep pushing forward, keep a positive mindset, a positive attitude. And again, this is coming from somebody who's a police officer who, they oftentimes develop these negative attitudes about human beings, but you cannot allow yourself to go down this road of negativity. There's good men out here. There's good women out here. And whatever you decide to do, you don't want to date black men? You don't want to date black women? Okay. But, make sure you're doing it for the right reason, I would say. And not just because you're hurt. Because if you're hurt, you need healing and you need to get it over that. And then work on yourself. Always look at yourself first. What is it that I could do, should do in order to improve my situation? That should always be the first step, is what is it I could do and should do in order to improve my situation. So I'll leave it up there. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. If you have anything you want me to talk about, hit me in my email. Make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like button. Subscribe, share, like. Much love and peace. Oh, also, you're looking for life coaching. If you're looking for life coaching, looking for any of my other services, make sure you hit me up. So all my services are in the description.